It's One More Thing Sun and Bass Social with Dave Colombo Jenkins.
And Gremlins in the system, so you are all treated to an absolute exclusive there from Dom and Roland, here to stay. And I'm kind of wishing I could be here to stay. I mean, I'm not, because I've missed my family and loads of other stuff that I got at home, but this is the type of place that I would love to be here to stay. And we've got another guest. Like, I'm going to give you a microphone. We have the one and only LSB. Is that working? Try it now.
Hello.
Hey, yeah, that is working. How are you doing, man?
I'm okay. I've lost my voice a little bit. Not ideal for a podcast.
It's the type of place where you do lose your voice quite a lot, really, isn't it?
I don't usually speak to anyone all week, so speak to a lot of people in a couple of days is quite a lot for my voice.
There's a lot of catching up to do, and like we had a little catch up on the beach yesterday, and I was buzzing to see, because you just seem really happy and positive and inspired at the moment, and we have the ups and downs of life and stuff, but yeah, you just seem really reflective and really philosophical when we spoke yesterday.
Yes, yeah, no, we're a good place, I think.
Yeah, about just kind of, it was something that you said which really made me feel, it was like the 21-year-old you who was really fighting to get a place on the lineup, a place on the flyer, could see where you're at now, and be like, what, you don't be negative about it, this is what you were dreaming of, like what you're doing now.
I was speaking about it yesterday, and I suppose over the last few years just reflected on like various things, and I think I got into the position where, like, I'm not moaning, but like the inconvenience of it was sort of playing more on my mind than the fun of it, and and I sort of had a word with myself, really, and thought about like that kid that just wanted fucking name on a flyer, or I remember like just hearing someone play my tune for the first time or anything like that, and it was so amazing, and then I suppose you just got into the grind of it, and I still work and kids, and so there's a lot going on, and I think the thing that took the back seat was the music, and then it started to feel like my like part of my personality or my soul was just sort of like seeping out, and spoke to myself, and it's just like, what do you want to do here? Like, just remember how much you loved it, and just really make the most of it. And I think, as I said to you yesterday, like I'm definitely nearer the end of my career than the beginning of it.
Oh my God, I forgot about that part of the conversation. That's where it got really morbid.
But it's not more. It's not like
it is morbid. Yeah, no.
But I try to make it a positive spin. It's just like, right, okay, like where I'm going to America at the moment with DRS or doing anything like that, and it's just like, look, just treat it like it might be to the last time, and you're going to look back in 20 years and think, oh God, I went to all these amazing places, but all I did was fucking moan that the seat weren't comfy on the plane, or and it's just like,
it is so easy to get kind of caught up in all that, isn't it?
Just didn't want to. And then also as part of that, it's just like the thing that I suppose I fell in love with was tunes in front of a sound system, just like really like lost in a dark club. Just like the escapism of it, and I just felt like I needed to treat myself to some of that as well, and just like go out and you hear the music and like in its essence, because if you really try and make tunes, you can get like caught up in the details and the complexity of it, and and naturally when you go in a club and you've got a good groove and a good bass line, it just gets you a long way, and you can just sort of, I don't know, and I just think that's quite refreshing, and that's really, and probably for best part of a year, I just hadn't written anything. Like, done a couple of remixes, but just no vibe. And I can't force it. So yeah, I just started going, and now it's coming back, because it's just like you start off like planting the seed of like the things that made you love it in the first place. Just put it back, and I'm feeling quite refreshed about it.
Yes, that is it, the power of getting in touch with the roots and why you fell in love with it, like going back to those real reasons. And I feel like I've kind of been on a similar trip myself, coming back into DJing, and it completely flips. Like, I could get cynical from my position as a journalist sometimes, but then if I switch on the DJ part of my brain and I'm playing to people and using the music in a performative way, and you're making that connection, it's like, this is what pushed the button for me in the first place.
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
And it's really important to do that. I think in any kind of aspect of life, or any long-term relationship you have with an individual, or a pursuit of any kind of type, really, something that's really inspiring inspiring me was that, I mean, it was the opening set. It was the first set that I heard when I arrived at Sun and Bass, was yourself and DRS like doing the Space Age thing. And these mixes, the Space Age mixes, have been such a big part of like, you know, my gym training and car journeys and stuff like that. Especially number one because I think it came out around the lockdown time as well. I think maybe just before.
The first one came out. Yeah, like three come out. I looked at it. It was like the 28th of March or something, 2020. So it was obviously really in a time where we were all feeling a bit vulnerable and unsure. And I think it just landed really well. The first one was 2018. They're like some of my favourite things I've ever done. And like I know that I'm very much piggybacking on DRS because he's the guy that I just lay down the foundations. He's the guy that really like has to write the lyrics and do the real thing. But like, it's interesting you say about like the gym and the car because like part of the way that we wanted to sound, so like Dale was really dry on it. Wanted to sound like he was like if he was driving, like he's sitting next to you, like talking to you, like he's with you, like that's the
literally chatting in your ear.
Yeah. That's like so it's all quite like in the delivery and then with the way that the music's mixed, it's just like meant to be a journey.
What I really liked about it as well is the way that he kind of introduces lyrics. So that on site, like a scaffolding, those lyrics. And he did the same, like it was that's with the T95 tune.
Decarb, like the Dalai Lama.
Yeah. But the lyrics come on before, and then there's the Come See Come Sa, I think on volume 3 or something like that. Yeah. But he introduces the lyrics on another tune before the tune comes out, so you already know the lyrics. And
so
stuff
I think
like that.
I don't know, like sometimes if it's he writes it on for the mix and it comes to the tune or the other way. I don't know. It's just a process, obviously, but and then so with the shows that we're doing, like it was really, really amazing on Saturday. You like felt like a real coming together. Like for the 6 volumes, we've like sliced out bits and just like put it into one set, and then he's doing his bars that he does on the mix, and I'm doing the mixes, and like so you could just tell the audience like perceiving. They sort of knew what was coming, and it was really lovely. And it's like a lot of like DJing. It's become quite like quick and like very like, and it's all like constant drops in energy, and it's like definitely got its place, and you can see what it brings. But this also gives with Dale, you get the concept to be like really drawn out. You can play some tracks that maybe you wouldn't normally, but still keep like the energy, and then it's just like ebbs and flows, and it's just like, and obviously there's like a big blueprint. Like obviously DRS was part of progression sessions. And they sort of like Bookham and Conrad, like well, they it's like that. That's what they were doing. I mean, I think like the Boston mix from 2001. I've listened to that so many times. So it's like a real big nod to that, I suppose.
I'm just being able to like seeing people, and this was the moment when I kind of felt like I'd landed. It took a while, and I had to come away and then come back, and it was seeing some of those really, really deep tracks, which you don't see hundreds of people raving to very often, really. Not at a festival, not a club, really. It's a shame. And I can't remember who made a post. It might have been yourself. Somebody made a post about a year ago saying like, why, you know, like comparing it to rock and like kind of soft bands or like trance and like melodic EDM, but in drum and bass, the musical side and the deeper side just doesn't get played to big audiences.
I don't know. I see things with it. I don't know if it's particularly like me, that one. But I like one thing I was aware of was like, again, like when I used to go out, like the concept of getting lost in a tune for a few minutes and just like it rolling out, and like that's what I really loved. And it just like little progressed to be quite subtle, and even in like loads of other music that I like outside of drum and bass, it's quite a lot about the anticipation and the journey of it, and
not about the impact. Reduced everything down to the impact,
and it's all quick and like it's so that's just. And I've always been quite stubborn. I think. I can't remember. He told me like you're quite a slow DJ, and I'm like, oh, but it's like a conscious thing because like it's quite easy to mix quick these days. Not like vinyl where you're just like scrambling around, and so like we could all do it, and it's just a bit of restraint in not maybe. And I know it doesn't always work, but when it does work, it's beautiful.
Well, people spend so much time crafting these tunes, and we talk about we lament over the lack of the second drop, but then 90% of DJs don't play the second drop.
I mean, it's things like obviously things are evolve a lot.
Yeah.
And like one thing that I would say is like sort of embracing like going out a bit, or certainly when I'm like gigging or away at a festival, just like spending a day in amongst it and just seeing what's going on is like the audience and like the crowd. It's like a really different thing to 20 years ago, like when I was first going out. And it's much better. Like maybe like the music's changed and stuff like that, but like it's just like it didn't. I just remember going to like Stratford Rex. I was chatting to a couple of people yesterday.
Aggie.
Like Aggie, yeah, like a few places like that.
You had to watch yourself.
Coronet and stuff, and you was always a little bit on edge, and you thought something might kick off, and it was kind of you was almost like accepted.
I mean, I actually did kind of enjoy that buzz because it made you on your best behaviour, so you didn't get so many wreckheads falling over and just being spanners. But it's still definitely a dangerous environment.
It definitely it was part of it, and it was. Yeah, I also agree. Like it wasn't anything that was intimidating as such, but it was just there. It was like a presence there, and maybe like in hindsight for like women, it might have been a bit like put them off, and now you see it here. It's all very mixed and.
Yeah, the crowd is healthier than it's ever been, and it's great to see a real kind of healthy balance of old and young, male and female, and everybody in between as well there, and just like a great mix of just people from everywhere. And I think at the moment, certainly where we are in Sun and Bass, like, you know, there's people from all over the world, every single background and everything.
And it should be,
and that's beautiful.
And like, it's getting generally a bit more diverse. I think it did become perhaps like less appealing to certain like groups that are probably real foundation with the music, but it's broadening out, so that's cool. There's like a lot of good things that are going on. Like and look, there's a huge commercial angle, and it's like it was drum and bass was at number 1 or whatever a couple of weeks ago, and like that's broadly positive, and it brings people to it. But there's a small part you worry it's like a major label bubble and it'll pop, and then we'll just be left in a we just won't be cool anymore. But I just think there's a strong enough underground community to keep it.
Doesn't matter.
Well, it's just like as long as you've got like Fabio and Groove and GQ, like there's like people that are just ridden every trend and like, but just stuck with it. Like this, like that we owe a lot to like that real core foundation. That's meant that like. When other sort of genres have gone in and out of vogue that have maybe really struggled when they're not like getting a bit of commercial funding, but we just got that sort of broad base of support, and like we should be very grateful for them.
It's one of the only genres which has still got such a bedrock of the pioneers, still active, still there, still relevant, still in demand as well, and booked things like that. And that's what creates that kind of consistency in that way. And speaking of kind of old times, that, you know, like crews were really important, collectives in their strength in numbers, and they had very identifiable sounds as well, like, you know, the Virus sound or the Ram sound and stuff like that. And there's the Space Cadet sound, I would say, like nicely segueing, probably the smoothest thing that's happened on this stream so far. You're part of, obviously, you represent Footnotes and yourself, but you're also very much part of...
Yeah, an extended crew, like I think... it's nice because, like, definitely maybe it's like a Manchester or Brummie thing. Like, there's a inherent like sharing, and we just all want each other's success. It's not like the love that's out there is not limited, and you're best to just grow together and support each other. And like when I was first trying to produce, I didn't always necessarily feel that in London. Like, I don't know if it's like a social thing. Like, there was obviously a lot of supportive people, but they're just a little bit more competitive. And so it's really nice to just work with these boys.
Right, so I'm going to move over, budge up. So now this is we've reached the climax of today's stream. We've got the Space Cadet crew, not with the main man at the helm. Del is DRS is absent without leave. He's gone AWOL. But we've got like Mr. Space Cadet, man. Like, Dan, how are you doing?
Thanks, Dave.
Cool. Is that working? Is that microphone?
Check.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Dave.
Yeah, cool. And we need to shift over here. So we've also got Zar. We've also got Anil as well. Anil. I've always said Anil, but it's Anil, which I'm learning now. And we've also got Hindsight as well, who's going to wrap up with a little mix. But tell us everything. I mean, like, Space Cadet has been a phenomenon, really, hasn't it? You're the man kind of controlling it. Well, not controlling it, but you're the man responsible for a lot of the outputs and stuff. You manage the situation, really, don't you?
Yeah, if you could put it well, it would be managed. Yeah, yeah. Obviously, it's, you know, predominantly down to Dell's output, which is a phenomenal amount. But as Luke said, it's a very much family affair with with what Luke does, what Pierre's doing, Eva, and a bigger collective than that. The guys from Manchester, all over, and yeah, we just, as Luke said, we just like helping each other and putting out the best music that we can.
Definitely. I mean, I would call you, this goes well beyond drum and bass. This is modern soul, isn't it, really? I would say modern soul and, kind of contemporary, contemporary funk and soul music, really, I think.
Yeah, I think soul runs through everybody's music. It's, kind of integral to what we do, isn't it? That it's, there's some honesty in it, really, and an integrity in it, like.
Definitely.
Never want to put a duff
would you
tune
agree
out
as
for
well,
the
Luke?
sake.
I mean, we'll sign that with you, Luke, and we'll pass the mics around a little bit there. But would you call it a modern soul label as well?
Yeah, well, it's obviously got its roots in that, but I think drum and bass generally is one of the greatest things about it. It's a melting pot of so many different genres and other sounds and influences, and yeah, to me, it's soul, it's funk, it's hip hop.
It's everything.
It's everything. As I was saying to Dan, I've spent the last 2 nights listening to a Kate Bush B-side album as I was going to bed, and that's what inspires me. Just for like 4 hours on loop because it's just so sparse and melancholic, and it's been getting me to sleep. So it's just like it's everything. It's what we love, like Dan's.
Wow.
And like me and Dale actually bond quite a lot over like pure 80s music, Tears for Fears, all that sort of like E equals MC squared. So there's a bit of everything for it, and I think, so I'd like to think the label reflects that, and our music does as well.
Yeah, I mean, that blows my mind, really, just imagining LSB and DRS like chatting about Tears for Fears or Duran Duran or other names of bands that like you were around before you were born.
Yeah, well, I just remember we were in Dallas, and we had like 4 days or 5 days off on a US tour. It's where we wrote most of the Blue Hour, and what we'd do is we'd get up, do some studio time, just like, well, it wasn't really a studio, it was like a mic on like a toilet roll stand, like in this Airbnb, and then we'd go and have barbecue, like absolutely stuff our faces with barbecue, and then get back and just like Spotify, just all these like
Kate
80s
Bush.
stuff, and yes,
Wham.
great times. Not quite Wham, although I don't hate on Wham. I think they've got some good songs. And George Michael, fully disrespected for he's an amazing
legend,
songwriter.
legend.
And if you watch the documentary, right, he's they just like dismissed this guy. He was like 21 and he was writing like Careless Whisper, and people were like, oh, he's some pop guy. And it's like, but anyway, let's not go on George Michael right now. But yeah, so
Come on,
I will pass it over to
pass it
Zara.
over to Anil, really. Cause,
And by the way,
yeah,
just welcome back to Anil to the scene.
yeah, man, that's literally what I was going to say. Like,
he's so great, and he keeps sending me so much music, and it's bloody amazing.
yeah,
Love you, mate.